Grease Pencil 3.0 is just around the corner, but I still wanted to add 15 new brushes to my texture brush pack. In this video, I'll go over those brushes and give you great tips how to make better art using them. First, select the 2D animation preset. We need to append our brushes to our project first. So go to File and Append. Locate the Dantti texture brushes and fills blend file. Go to Brush folder. Remember to check this fake user setting, so the appended brushes will be saved in the blend file. All of the brushes that have a D in front of them are part of this pack. DBs are texture brushes. DFs are seamless fill textures. DLs are line textures. There's something for every situation. But for now, I'll choose the 15 new brushes that I have just added. This time, I wanted to add more simple shapes that I felt were missing from the pack. I was inspired to make some of these when my favorite hoodie zipper broke. It made me realize this pack needs exactly those shapes. Now, the tips I'm about to show work with all the brushes. There are also more tips at the instructions PDF that comes with the pack. First thing you should be aware of is the input samples up here. This value goes from 0 to 10, where 0 produces less textures to the stroke, and 10 adds a lot of textures. This also depends on your zoom level, by the way. This can be changed later using modifiers, like simplify for reducing points, and subdivide for increasing them. Next tip is about texture orientation. Under the Materials tab, you can choose if the texture should align to the path, object, or fixed position. You can also rotate the textures here. This can be also achieved using Texture Mapping modifier and targeting the right material or layer. Next tip is my favorite feature. Basic things you can randomize are radius, strength, and UVs. When you are using color attributes, you can also randomize hue, saturation, and value. Sometimes there's a bug when you need to uncheck this pin and click this icon to use these options. These settings are what most of my brushes use. It makes them feel more alive. Tweaking all these values can immensely improve your paintings. Next tip is about masking. Most people overlook this feature, but it is super powerful. First, you need a base layer to draw. It can be any type of brush or fill texture. Then, you need to add a new layer on top and enable masks that target the lower layer. Now, with the mask layer selected, we can draw inside the textures. This gets even better when we lower the bottom layer's opacity to 0. So good. Which brings me to the next tip on how to get more painterly looking renders. First, we need to enable compositing to work on camera or always. Then, we need to add a new workspace and change it to compositing. Check Use Nodes and press Shift A. Filter and add a Kuvahara node. There's 2 modes to this node. Tweaking these values can easily make your drawing look even more painterly. I have made a whole tutorial about this if you would like to learn more. Next tip is about effects. We can easily bring more colors to our drawings by using effects like Rim for colors that are on top of our drawing and shadows that are below our drawing. I like to use Wave Distortion where I want to break up the look even more. Tweaking these settings and duplicating the effect can produce very nice painterly look. Other quick changes we can make to our drawings can be done with the use of modifiers. My all-time favorite is the noise modifier. that also animates your strokes if you want to. You can of course turn off randomization. Tuning position and scale adds more noise to your strokes. Tuning strength and thickness adds more variation. And tuning UVs makes everything a wonky mess. Best thing is that this is like the next dimension to your strokes, where normal settings aren't enough, because you can influence a lot of things, and there is a custom curve setting for extra tweaking. Now let's talk about colors. There are numerous ways of changing them afterwards. One I like to use is the hue and saturation modifier, because you can also target a specific layer or material. This really helps to tune your colors fast. There is also a tint brush in draw mode that you can use for quick tuning. And in vertex paint mode, there are more brushes like blur, average, and smear. Also, if you have multiple layers, you can try changing the layer blend mode for quick changes. When it comes to editing the strokes, there is no better place than sculpt mode. Here you can quickly tweak things like thickness, strength, randomize, adjusting, and pinch. Other great place to edit your strokes is the edit mode, where you can turn on proportional editing up here. That has different options to choose. And turning on point selection. When you select a point, you can do great things when moving, scaling, adjusting thickness, or rotating. Lastly, an important thing to know. When we are using a 2D animation preset, we can make changes to the startup file, like changing strength and turning off auto keying if it bothers us. I have plans to make a startup file that loads these processes automatically, but right now it is not possible due to a bug that doesn't load thumbnails. If we have settings that we need to change every time we append our favorite process, we can open the Dantti texture process and fills blend file. Here you can select the brush you want to change and tweak the settings to your liking. Finally, save the blend file. This way the changes are there the next time you append the process. Tag me on socials if you create something with these processes. That's all for now. Bye bye.